Yo, what is going on, you frazzled phalanx? Today we are playing some games with Malamar VMAX, and I know I've made quite a few videos on Malamar VMAX, different builds, recently, but I've updated my most recent take on the Weavile build. So I want to come at you guys with the updated Weavile build of the Malamar VMAX. So of course, 4-3 Malamar, or I guess now 4-3 Malamar in the list, so a little bit heavier on the Malamar VMAX line. Still have the Weavile in here, but I cut out all the tag call stuff and the red and blue. I still kept around the Mega Sableye Tyranitar and the Darkrai and Umbreon, but I don't have the tag calls in here. I got the Mewtwo and the Mew because I don't feel like Urshifu is super popular right now, or needs to kind of be respected right now, because it's just not very good and it's tough for it to exist in the meta. So I don't play any answers to any great answers to Urshifu. Of course, the Malamar VMAX isn't weak to fighting, it is weak to the grass, so we can just use Malamar fine in that matchup, but I have a feeling it would probably be a bad matchup overall without Mew or Mewtwo. So no Mew or Mewtwo, and if Urshifu gets popular again, you can always add those back in and cut some stuff out, like cut back on the Malamar line a little bit probably, or something like that. Yeah, no red and blue, so I've upped the dark energy count to 11. No capture energy anymore. We want just straight dark energy to try and get those in the discard pile to get them in play through the Moltres with the Dire Flame wings, and then of course I still have 2 Viridian Forest in here as well, to help us discard energy, find energy, all that good stuff. And I've upped the support account as well, 4 Marnie, 4 research now. We don't have red and blue to rely on, so we need to be a little bit more aggressive about getting the Moltres set up, so more draw supporters in here. I've kept the Cheryls around because it's really good with Malamar VMAX. You get hit, you Cheryl, you have a huge advantage over your opponent at that point. And I did kind of like the Pokegears though, so that might be something I'll try and put back in, is the Pokegear, or maybe even multiple Pokegear, because having the flexibility to find if the Pokegear, if I cut this research for a Pokegear, the Pokegear can find research or Marnie or Cheryl or Boss, but if it's just a research, it's always just a research. I do kind of like the flexibility of Pokegear, so might be something I try and include back into the list. But right now I kind of made a little bit more bare bones, trying to make it as straightforward as possible, especially for the matchups that I think are going to be the most popular, and I'm not trying to tech too much for the matchups I don't think are super popular right now, like the Rapid Strike and so on, like I mentioned. So yeah, this is my current take. Let's go ahead and let's get into some games. All right, here we go. Getting into our first game here. Opening hand is it's all right. Gotta decide what we want to go with here. Probably Calm, grab the Malamar V, and then Crobat, try and find ourselves that Sneasel for the turn. I've actually debated whether or not to go first or second with this deck, especially this build. I actually kind of feel like going second to try and get everything set up might be the better way to go. Yeah, Crobat for 3, try and find Sneasel. No Sneasel to be found. I don't want to really give them Viridian Force, and I don't mind keeping it as like a stadium bump to their Hearth. So I think we just hold the Viridian Force here. So it looks like we're going with a turn 3 VMAX, which isn't the worst thing ever. Of course, it's not ideal, but we'll survive. We'll live. It's not the worst thing ever. Hopefully we survive. I think if we just lose the game because we go for a turn 3, but we should be fine here. I'll get a Viridian Force off this turn, or on the next turn get energy in the discard pile. Hopefully find Moltres and Sneasel this turn. Ideally we get both of them out and cruising. Yeah, get both of those cooking, because we do need the Weavile at some point, and then the extra energy in play from the Moltres is also a big deal. So that's why I say, like, maybe just going second with this deck is just better. Give ourselves that draw supporter for the turn that then allows us to find those cards. So yeah, it might be better to play it out that way. So we're up against a Victini deck. I haven't played against Victini in a while. It's been a while, so I have no idea what's in Victini decks right now. It looks like they're not playing the Jirachi build. They got the Kricketune and they opened a Baby Volk, so I'm assuming they're not playing the Jirachi build with Scoop Up Nets. We'll see though, who knows what it actually is, and they're definitely content with their setup here. They didn't even play a supporter for turn. They don't mind what they got going on. All right, Viridian Forest, give them energy, get an energy. At the very least I want Moltres. I guess I don't need, to be honest, I don't need Sneasel this turn. I just want Moltres this turn. I want to start loading up extra energy in play, and on the next turn when I go attack, that's when I'm going to want that Sneasel. Didn't get either of them. I could Dedede Change to try and find them, and I don't hate the idea of that. And in fact, I think I kind of like putting a lot of priority on the Moltres, right? I think the Moltres is pretty important to find here, and we do find an out to Moltres. Go ahead and give up the dark energy. Get that Moltres. Yeah, I'm putting getting the energy in play, because I don't need to move the energy around next turn. I just want as many energy in play as possible next turn. I think we should leave this in the active and pass. And then next turn we're gonna Marnie and hopefully find that Sneasel. So we got a couple bench cloggers here, the Crobat and the Dedede. So hopefully those guys move or don't cause too many problems. We only have one bench space to work with right now. But I assume our opponent's gonna hit our Dark Umbreon on this turn. Hopefully they don't have like a boss hit. That would be kind of unfortunate if they do have like a boss hit. Like KO even the Moltres would be really annoying. We do have the second Moltres in the deck, but I don't want them to like just hit my Moltres. But then we get the first hit with the Malamar, so it might not be that bad to be honest. But here we go. They're loading up the Volk. I guess this means they can just still hard retreat the Volk to the Victini VMAX though, so it doesn't mean too much if they attach to the active here, to be honest. But they could just hit for 110 here into my Dark Umbreon, which doesn't really set up too much though, so I would be like fine with that. I guess like a Heatran play could happen later on, but there's a boss on my Moltres, so they are going for the boss play. Can they find themselves that VMAX though is the question. If they don't, we're fine. If they do, it's kind of annoying, to be honest. To be honest, no matter what, it's going to be a little bit annoying because we probably have to hard retreat the Moltres unless we get lucky enough to find an air balloon. But we definitely would need to get a little bit fortunate. We could also just attack with the Moltres this turn, to be honest. We don't have to use Malamar, and I don't hate the idea of attacking with Moltres here. And I'm going to think about it for a second. We could just attack with Moltres or the knockout. Then they have to hit this. Then we go into the Malamar, and hopefully by then we have the Sneasel plus Cheryl combo set up. Okay, I kind of like it the more I think about it. So I think I'm just going to attach here. I don't think I'm going to need the Mega Sableye TTR anymore, so I'm just going to do that. Grab this, and then we'll put this on the bottom of the deck with the Marnie, because that's where it goes. So now we can't draw into that dark energy anymore. Got the out to the Sneasel. Got more Malamar stuff to work with as well. So I like where this is going. So I want to set up a second Malamar as a question, or do I want to get another Moltres online? I definitely need a Sneasel here. I don't want to run out of energy, that's for sure. But I could like bench this Malamar V next turn. I have a second VMAX to work with following up the Moltres. But I do need enough energy in play to be able to attack with it anyways, which I might not be able to get, to be honest. So quick ball away. Like I said, I don't want to run out of energy, and I want to make sure I attach turn to turn. They could like replace this with a Hearth, and I might not be able to find energy. So I'm going to get rid of the V here. We have less Vs than VMAXs. Grab the Sneasel. 1V, 1 VMAX. So I should have got rid of the VMAX there. Weavile's in there. We actually prized the second Moltres. I thought it was in the deck. I thought I saw it in the deck. I guess I was wrong. But we're going to draw a prize card here. Hopefully we get the Moltres. That's what I would really like off the prize cards here. Otherwise, we're kind of all in on hoping we find Cheryl. That's a Marshadow. That is not... So yeah, we're all in on finding Cheryl now on these next two turns. I guess, see, if I put the Malamar V down, then I could have gone Air Balloon Retreat to a new Malamar VMAX at the very least. But because I didn't do that, I can't do that. So that's kind of unfortunate. I can still get that other Malamar V down, but I don't get that line of play really as easily. So it's going to get a little bit tough from here, I think. It's going to get a little bit tough. There's the replacement of the stadium. So I was saying, like, I want to keep around this dark energy, because if they do replace my stadium, I might just not be able to find an energy. Yeah, so that's why I didn't want to just like aggressively discard the energy there. So we get the attachment for turn. We'll go into that Max Jammer plus Marnie, and maybe that's enough to kind of set us up for a good route to victory here. And like I said, the Cheryl's going to be pretty important. I'm kind of scared of the Heatran GX as well, because they can put all this energy together and one hit KO my Malamar VMAX. And without Moltres set up on the next turn, I can't create really a follow-up attacker to that. So that is a little bit scary here. Actually, they could even just attack with this energy burst. They don't actually even have to evolve to the VMAX here. Yeah, so here comes just that energy burst. It's going to get close from here. We'll see. The Marnie, we're really relying on Marnie plus Max Jammer here to do work. Oh, I should have sent up the Dark Umbreon. I mean, this is always ending up in the active, basically, but still should have benched that. We'll probably bump the stadium with the Marshadow, but we're going to wait and see what we draw. We could go like Viridian Forest, bump. I probably want to keep another. Did not draw into the Cheryl or Dedenne, so we can't even Dedenne into it on the following turn. Go ahead and get rid of that. I'm going to throw down this Weavile, or this Malamar V, though, because we could get the Air Balloon plus the Weavile and then retreat into it. That could work, I guess. Max Jammer, 180. We get to take a look at their hand and potentially remove their only way to draw cards. So they're already hitting us. They have two VMAXs in hand. So I think we should get rid of the Quick Ball here. Their options with Mewtwo are not... They don't have any options for Mewtwo. So if we just get rid of the Quick Ball, they're going to have a VMAX no matter what. It would stop the double VMAX, though, I guess. I could stop double VMAX by getting rid of one of the VMAXs. But I think I want to remove the Quick Ball here, which removes their out to Dedenne or Eldegoss or Crobat or whatever. Probably Eldegoss. Well, I guess they didn't have any fire energy in the hand, so they probably want to go Eldegoss. Probably be Dedenne there. But we remove that option when we make this play. So now on our turn, we're really hoping to get that that Weavile and that new Malamar VMAX to get into an attacker. We need a lot, though. We do need a lot. And we could also like run to Darkrai Umbreon for a turn while we set up energy as well. We could like retreat, attach, move the energy over if we don't have the Malamar VMAX yet, or we don't get the air balloon. We could just hide behind the Darkrai Umbreon. That would also work, to be honest. So we could go with something like that. It really depends on what we draw off this research. This research is going to be huge here. Here comes the hit. So I'll attach to the Malamar V and then research and see what we get. Oh, there's the air balloon already. So that's a great start. Attach to Malamar V and then research. We're looking for that Weavile now. Got the Weavile. Okay. Oh, wow. All right. Sheesh. And the Cheryls for next turn. This is actually going to be an absurdly powerful 2 turns here. Malamar VMAX. Calm again. Weavile. I was about to say Weavile VMAX. Not quite. Yeah, we drew absolutely everything. And then we can Cheryl double heal the Malamars next turn. And we will just be in a ridiculously good spot from there. Put this energy over here. I don't want to overload this, I guess, just in case. Can't think of any reason why it would hurt, but I don't know. Maybe. Max Shammer, we get rid of the only card in their hand, which is this fire energy. They still have the Hearth to work with, so they can get access to fire energy next turn. But the thing is, they only draw 1 card for turn. So if it's a welder, they can't use it because they have to Hearth away a card to get fire energy, but they only have 1 card in hand. If it's a quick ball, they can't use it. If it's a calm, they can't use it. The other things they could draw would be like Dene, Cherish Ball, stuff like that. Dedenne or Cherish Ball, Crobat. Otherwise, they just have a dead hand. And this is why like hand disruption can be so powerful against welder decks. Because they need multiple cards to make their main supporter work, which is welder. And when they don't have multiple cards to work with, they lose the game. They just lose. Huge heal going on here, and we're gonna move the energy back, and then we have and there's the concede, which is definitely reasonable because there was no way they were winning that one at that point, and we had another Cheryl to work with. So even if they hit us next turn, we were Cheryling again, and yeah, it was just all over for our opponent from there, and we get a pretty convincing dub off of a pretty scary, shaky start. Pretty convincing dub in the end. All right, here we go again. I'm gonna choose to go second this time. Like I mentioned in the last one, I've been kind of iffy on whether or not I like going first or second, but second, especially after playing that last game and like thinking about it, being able to play the draw support, we need so many stage 1s. Well, we need 2 stage 1s on our second turn, but also trying to set up the Moltres and get that going. And like last game, we were fine not attacking till turn 3, but it'll be definitely nicer to attack a little bit sooner. So, and like a hand like this, I mean, if we had opened with a hand like this going first, obviously that's pretty good. But we're not always going to open with hands like this. And then we get to still play the Marnie for the turn, which can help us see more cards to work with as well. So that's not like a bad thing anyways. And it's also possible our opponent, because they are going first and they don't get to play that draw supporter, they also have kind of like a shaky turn 1. So that can also just lead to, yeah, shaky turn 1 from our opponent, which means we just get to kind of take over the game potentially and have like 2 back-to-back clean turns where they just have kind of a shaky one into maybe a cleaner turn. But that if they don't have back-to-back, you know, clean turns, maybe they don't get to do all that they want to do on their second turn, which can be just really good for us. So we can kind of like feed off of that a little bit as well. Our opponent is playing Cincino. There's a Fawn Crystal, so I think it is, yep, Rapid Strike Malamar, which, you know what, I have to imagine is not a good matchup. We'll see, though. I actually really have no idea. I guess the game plan we're probably looking for is like Boss KO or Choreo plus Reset Stamp. But, I mean, they do a lot of damage. Yeah, I don't think this is a very good matchup, to be honest. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But if I had to guess, I would say nah. I would say nah. Probably not great. We'll see, though. Top deck to Malamar VMAX. A quick ball away this. The question is, which one of those do I want to Marnie into? Because that's what we can do here with the Calm. We can't Marnie into... We probably double Malamar V there. I think I would rather draw into the Weavile than the VMAX, I think. So we're going to grab the Sneasel here. And then go with that Marnie. I think I'd rather draw into the Weavile than the Malamar VMAX. But it's close. And we drew into the Malamar VMAX, not the Weavile, but the Weavile we can get on our next turn. Unless I want to Calm for another Malamar V right now, if I'm scared of this Malamar V getting knocked out, which I don't think I am. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and pass and hold the hand. But I could have Calmed here for another Malamar V just in case I was scared of it getting knocked out. Yeah, and that's one of the things. This matchup, they're a 1-prize deck. They hit pretty hard. They can 1-hit KO our VMAXs. The biggest thing, though, is that it's really hard to hand disrupt this deck. They got the Octillery that can always get the Karina's Focus. They have Cincinos that can always just draw cards. Like, it's just really hard to disrupt them at all. Like, it's just almost impossible to disrupt my opponent at all. They can continuously just draw cards. They have Oricorio, so when I take a knockout, they draw 3 with Oricorio. So, and then if I don't knock out the Malamar, they have the Malamar just set up ready to go on the following turn. So yeah, it's really, really hard to disrupt my opponent, disrupt this deck, this rapid strike deck. It's really, really hard to do it. So, and that's one of our main strengths as the Malamar VMAX deck. So not only is it a 1-prizer deck that can 1-hit KO us, because we could always still like stamp them to 1 and then like knock them out potentially, and or remove their 1-card hand and then knock out their attacker, and then we might be good from there against other 1-prize decks. But against this one specifically, they just play so much draw engine cards. Like I said, they got the Cincino, they got the Artillery, they play Oricorio, so it's just really, really hard to get any value out of Max Jammer, which is our main attacker in this matchup. So we're gonna have to get creative here and come up with other ways to do stuff, to be honest. And Darkrai Umbreon is like the main thing I'm probably looking at here to try and abuse. The GX attack can maybe slow them down for a turn, and just stop them from being able to do anything. And what we would hope. It might not be able to do that, but if it can do that, then that's great for us, and that means we can buy a turn to kind of get ahead in the prize exchange maybe. I mean, Cheryl is also going to be potentially a big deal in this matchup. The Cheryls, if they don't get the 1-hit KOs and we can find the Cheryls, that means we heal a turn of damage that they did, and who knows, that could be huge as well. But I think it's all going to be pretty hard to do and pull off, but we'll see. We're going to try for it, and we'll see what happens. Our opponent here drawn pretty well. They got the U-turn board on the Cincino. They got the Malamar set up. Here comes the Artillery, so we're getting hit this turn for sure. I'm sure they're going to search out a Spiral Energy here and then probably hit us for like 160 damage, which is a lot of damage. It's a lot of damage, man. It's gonna be a tough one. It's gonna be a tough one. Yep, there's the Spiral Energy. Got their energy for turn. That's what I was saying. Like, they just have so much draw power. 120. Okay, maybe they won't be able to get the knockout on the following turn. I'm not feeling too hopeful about that, but I said it's going to be a tough one, so we have to hope something goes right our way at some point. So get rid of this Moltres. Going to get that Weavile. Malamar VMAX to the active. Yeah, it has 120 on it, but I think we just have to like be fine with that. And then we're actually going to give our opponent more cards here with this money, but I got to find another Malamar V here, which we do find. Probably quick ball away the Calm here. Quick ball away the Calm, Malamar V. We don't have enough energy in play though right now, so maybe you have to be a little bit more aggressive actually. I think I actually might go with something like Calm away the Malamar VMAX. Grab the Malamar V. And then I'm going to use Crobat here. I'm going to quick ball away the Elagos, use Crobat. And then we can also use Dedenne after that, because I need to actually find an energy for the discard pile here, or we might not be able to attack on the following turn. There we go. We got the energy to the discard pile now. That's perfect. And we can go ahead and grab ourselves probably the Dedenne still, to be honest. We probably still want that Dedenne. Unfortunately, we have this Cheryl in the hand. Yeah, we have the Cheryl in the hand, we're not going to be able to utilize. Potentially. We have another Cheryl in the deck, but yeah, and maybe they won't knock us out, right? Maybe they whiff the knockout. I could go with something. We could go with like a 30 damage to the new active. We could go with like a drag off knockout on the Inkay, actually. And that would allow us to Cheryl next turn. I don't hate that because it is weak to dark. Yeah, I kind of like it. Let's go with it. Yeah, it keeps the energy in play, and then also keeps the energy in play, and then it also means we can utilize the Cheryl in the next turn. We don't have to Dead Change to try and dig for the VMAX if we get knocked out. Of course, it's possible we don't get knocked out. But it's also possible we do get knocked out. So we're just gonna go with the drag off knockout. I like this a little bit more. It also puts them, gives them that 2-prizer that we want to kind of feed them anyways. We want them to knock out a 2-prize Pokemon, because then that means we can get that stamp to 1 in the late game. So it also opens up that a little bit. And if they have, like, you know, if they boss chase us, we still have a Malamar V ready to become a VMAX and start attacking on the next turn. So it's not that big of a deal if they do have like a boss KO on this Malamar VMAX. And we see they just have a research here, and they discarded a lot. What did they discard here? Artillery, so a decent amount of rapid strike cards, which is good for us. I usually don't play the research in this deck, or I usually don't see people playing research in here because it does discard cards, which you don't want to lose rapid strike cards, because then you're damaged. That's your damage output. So see if that ends up hurting them in the end. Probably won't be too impactful. They haven't lost that many, to be honest. They are down 3 boss, so this is gonna make me think that they probably are actually out of boss. I doubt they play much more than 3 boss. It's possible they maybe play something like an Eldegoss or a Palpad, I guess, but I had to guess, I would just go ahead and start guessing that they're out of boss at this point. Of course, we'll find out as the game progresses and whether or not they boss us, but being down 3 boss is a lot. So that's definitely something we want to try and play off of for sure, if we can. And they're going to knock out this Malamar V, and actually this is our only Malamar V left, so that kind of stinks for us. We can't actually set up another Malamar V, so we probably want a quick ball here on this next turn to put I guess the Darkrai Umbreon has to be the thing we grab to put in play here, which isn't great because we don't want to use that yet. We'd rather, like, if they take a knock on the Malamar VMAX, we'd probably rather go into a Malamar VMAX, to be honest, but it's gonna have to go with the Darkrai Umbreon, I guess, if they get the knockout on this thing. We'll probably have to quick ball for it next turn, but we'll wait and see what happens. They might not even get the KO on this Malamar V, which would be huge. That'd be a huge whiff from my opponent, but we'll wait and see whether or not they get it. Setting up pretty nicely. They need, what are they, 6? They haven't used the Rapid Strike Search yet, and they benched the Inkay, although they probably want to bench the Inkay no matter what. So let's see if they have 6 here. They might not, which would be huge for us. Then we could even just go into that Brain Shake on our next turn instead of getting too aggressive altogether. And we should go with that Brain Shake for the knockout. But we'll see what they have here. See if they have that 6 for the knockout. If they don't, yeah, we can go quick ball away that, get the energy back over here, move it to the active Brain Shake. We could go with the Cheryl as well, which I probably will go with. I have it right now. I may as well utilize it while I have it. But let's see if they got this. Let's see what kind of knockout they got here, or how much damage they're doing here. That's 6. That is the knockout. Okay, so they did get it. Goodbye, Malamar. And they're gonna get themselves 2 prize cards to work with. And we will be able to finally use Max Jammer. But like I said, it's not that big of a impact on the game. The Max Jammer isn't really. Okay. Use this. Let's move some energy off of our VMAX here so we can play this Cheryl. Play the Cheryl for the turn. Let's move the energy back to the active. And I am going to quick ball for, like I said, that the other Malamar's our prize. So Darkrai Umbreon, I think, wants to be our go-to attacker following up here. And we could even get to the GX attack on the next turn, which could be huge. I don't think I want to use this guy. Greedy Crush could come into play pretty big, though, if they do use the Oricorio at some point. If they set up Oricorio at some point, it could be a big deal, to be honest. Done that, and that's why it was so important for us to get the Moltres when I used the Crobat to try and set up the Moltres, because, or get the energy in the discard pile for the Moltres, because now even if they knock out our VMAX next turn, probably put the Inkay on the bottom, because that is, I mean, none of these really matter too much, I guess, but I guess the Inkay is like the best card in their hand, I think. So let's just get rid of Inkay here. None of them were great, obviously, and they have double Make Do plus maybe triple Make Do this turn, plus the Octillery to work with. Maybe getting rid of the Evolution Incense to stop the third Make Do from potentially happening was the better play. We're just gonna go with that, and hopefully that works out. But yeah, getting that energy in play on the Moltres when I kind of used the Crobat there, it was such a big deal, because if they knock this out this turn, then boom, next turn, Dire Flame Wings, attachment for turn, and we're back into an attacking mode with this the Black Lance on the Darkrai and Umbreon. And then hopefully finding, at that point, we're also looking to find a reset stamp to 1 to try and keep us going there. Another research goes down from my opponent. They discarded, I don't think anything there, the Evolution Incense, which is kind of irrelevant. Yeah, they got triple Cincino set up. Research. I would be surprised if we don't get knocked out here, but that's what the kind of thing we're looking for. We're really looking to not get knocked out here. That'd be great if we didn't get knocked out here, because that's how we win this game. That's what gives us a chance to win here. So we kind of need to not get knocked out here. But I'd be kind of surprised also if we don't get knocked out. They got a ton of draw power going on. A ridiculous amount of draw power. They do need a lot, though. They do need a lot. They need 9, I believe. 9. Yes, 7, 8, 9. They had 6 last turn. Oh, no, maybe just 8 here, actually. Just 8. My bad. Yeah, just 8 to take the KO. It's still a lot. They need 8 Rapid Strike cards. They still need the energy for turn. They just failed a level ball there, I believe, which is good for us, because now they had to make do away a Rapid Strike card instead of making do away the level ball. If they make do away the level ball there, they're not discarding a Rapid Strike card. So maybe they can't quite get the one-hit KO, which would be huge. And then we'd probably go into the Darkrai Umbreon on the next turn, bench the Malamar V to try and make a new VMAX as soon as possible. We could Dead Change to try and find the Cheryl, but a little bit unlikely. Top deck Cheryl would be ridiculously good. If they don't get the KO here, and they only have 6 cards in hand, 7, like I said, they need 8. We can GX attack, but the GX attack is not that ridiculously good against them, to be honest. Like, there's just not that they don't need to play a whole ton of trainer cards on their turn when their hand is like this big. So if we could get Stamp, maybe Stamp plus, or I guess we're gonna maybe use the Marnie. So Marnie plus GX attack could be could shut them down a little bit here. I don't know how much, but yeah, top deck Cheryl would probably be the #1 thing to top deck here. Top deck anything that is not Cheryl. I'm gonna go ahead and bump that stadium. Fire Flame Wings. Do I want to bench the Malamar V is the question. I could Dead Change here. And I'm thinking about doing it more and more because they only have a 1-card hand. So I kind of do just want a Dead Change here. Yeah, let's just go with the Dead Change. And then we'll probably try and get into the GX attack. Do get it. Actually, we got the Cheryl. Holy smokes. But this feels like such a good turn to GX attack. I don't know. Because for them to build up a hand on the next turn, they would kind of need to play like a draw supporter, I feel like, for the turn. Otherwise, they're not going to be able to really build up a hand. And will most likely not be able to KO us without a draw supporter. So I think it's a great time to use the GX attack. I think it's a great time to use the GX attack. But also the Cheryl, because, I mean, we have it, so we may as well use it now. Yeah, because they have a 1-card hand, so I think it's going to be really hard for them to build up that GX attack. We could also boss like the or Artillery. We could boss Artillery, but I think removing 2 cards from play that they need, which would be the Malamar and the Energy, is a little bit better. Because if we remove the Artillery, they can't find a card, but then they already have these 2 cards in play that they wouldn't need to find. So I think just GX attacking the active and using the Cheryl is probably the way to go here. Dark Moon GX, yeah, because now they have the Cincinnos. They can evolve to the Malamar. They can play the Energy to attack, but they need to find it all to make dues. So now they're going to draw for turn. They have to make do one of those 2 cards, and then they have to make do one of those 3 cards, and they have to make do one of those 4 cards, right? So it makes it like awkward. They keep discarding cards that they are like forced to discard. Now they can't like play a Karina's Focus, and they have a Oricorio in hand. So that's not good. That's a lot of card draw. But hold up. Well, I mean, I was gonna say. Yeah, that gives them a lot more room to work with here using the Oricorio here. But they still need the Malamar. They need to evolve to the Malamar. They need to have the Energy as well. And if it's a Spiral Energy, that's -1 Rapid Strike card in hand. I mean, I think we're still gonna get them here. I think they're not gonna be able to get the attack up here. Like, look at that 4-card hand. They still have 1 make do, but that only goes from 4 to 5, and then Artillery for 1. So they need like basically only Rapid Strike cards in hand to get the knockout here. I don't think they're gonna be able to do it. Now with the Oricorio on the bench, that sets up kind of like a win condition for us now. I was gonna say T-Tar and Sableye, but we don't have any bench space for that, so we can't utilize Mega T-Tar or Mega Sableye and T-Tar. But I don't think they're gonna be able to get the knockout this turn. I think they've exhausted almost all of their. Nope, they got a little bit more. I think we're good. I don't think they can get the knockout, right? So even if they attach the Energy this turn, they put 6 down. It shouldn't KO my my Darkrai Umbreon. It survives with a lot of HP, actually, 90 HP. And now we can just KO the active, and then my opponent, yeah, there's the conceit. Because if we KO the active Malamar, they have no in-KO on the bench because they put down the Oricorio. They're really reaching for that knockout there, which I don't think was ever possible for them to get, to be honest. But if they had gotten it, they would have taken all my energy out of play, which means I can't attack next turn, which means they probably just win the game. But they couldn't get the knockout, so we just win the game. And that's going to do it for these games with the updated Malamar VMAX. I hope you guys enjoyed them. I really do enjoy this deck. It's a ton of fun, so I definitely recommend it to you guys to try out. And I'll see you tomorrow.